Hi everyone, Kelt here. So it looks like there's a possibility that Prince Harry might return to the UK for the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. It seems as if he has been reassured about his protection plans. So when they came over recently, allegedly, they brought their own private bodyguards from the States, and they received a special escort group detail. So it looks like they're trying to keep him happy, or this is just all for show. So they've sort of worked out something, a special model of protection and security for Harry and his family. Why, I don't know. Let's bear in mind that Harry is still taking legal action against the Home Office regarding his police protection, and still says he doesn't feel safe under the current security arrangements and doesn't feel that his family would be safe if they travelled to the UK. Well, he brought MEGHAN recently, and Samantha's still going on about whether the children exist. So that's sort of a bit more in the news now and making people think, making people that never even considered it before actually look at photos and question it a bit more. So Harry was supposed to have been reasonably happy with the way that the security worked when he and Meghan allegedly came to Windsor, which I don't believe they did. So again, this is all for show. I believe that there's something else going on, and this is all being put out there just to make it look as if business as usual. This machine of the royal family is running smoothly. So it says that Harry rubbed shoulders with the King of the Netherlands. Rubbed shoulders. Well, at least Harry didn't have his hand on his knee, eh? And what's all that about? I mean, he can be whatever he wants to be. Whatever preference, it's his business, not ours. But what's he trying to prove with all this? And some people have said, is Meghan setting him up, ready for a divorce? He was this all along and he never told me, or he's suddenly become this and he's been unfaithful with so-and-so. Very possible that it could turn around and come back to bite him. Or he could just be rebelling against the whole royal protocol thing of always appearing to be faultless in public. That's probably why they did what they did, he and Meghan, when they were in Australia, and their body language was very dubious at one point. Well, Meghan's was. So it just could be a bit of rebellion. Or he could be trying to make Meghan jealous. What do you think? What do you think all that's about? Harry looks like it's just one of his army mates, very much all lads together. But the guy looks a little bit smitten, I think. I don't know. Again, it's not what, but why. So the Mail is saying that the Sussex's security row could be fixed for the Queen's Jubilee. And they're saying that Prince Harry might return to the UK with Archie and Lilibet for the celebration, after being reassured about protection plans. So all this would be funded by taxpayers, because the Home Office have said that they cannot agree private financial arrangements with anyone receiving Met Police security. So, if indeed he does come, they need to make sure that he's not standing anywhere near the Queen or any of the senior royals. They should be well and truly at the back, maybe even out of camera shot. And now Prince Harry is saying that the next Invictus Games will be held in Canada. Some are saying that he's jumping on another bandwagon and he's all about the Indigenous people of Canada, and maybe this is to try and readdress some sort of balance because of the royal statues being torn down after all the Indigenous children's graves were found. That's another complete topic, and I'm not going to go into it here. Do your own research on that one. Anyway, Harry cannot readdress any balance. He's gone above and beyond in tearing the monarchy down. He's not helping them whatsoever. So apparently the royal family are completely worn out with the never-ending soap opera surrounding Prince Harry. And yet the very fact that nothing is done, they seem to be pandered to, tolerated at worst, and pandered to. As I said, it's just a big show. It's to distract from other things. So back to the subject of the next Invictus Games, which Harry is wanting it to be about reconciliation with Indigenous communities. So that would be another bandwagon that he could jump on. And they do like Canada. Meghan lived there for quite a while. So it's saying that the event will be in partnership with Indigenous communities in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. Wow, two things that Harry's really good at, yes? Truth and reconciliation? I think not. And it says that Harry's comments could be viewed as a barb following controversy over Prince William and Kate's tour. Catherine and William were trying to preserve tradition and build bridges and keep some of the tradition alive with the royal tour and mixing with the locals and being very, very relatable and very sensitive as well. Whereas Harry's going to go in all guns blazing and probably tear down his family again. So it will be the first ever Winter Hybrid Games in 2025. I think it's definitely a dig at Prince William and Catherine regarding their tour of the Caribbean. So what's Harry going to do? Is he going to join in with tearing down more statues of his family? The truth of it is, many thousands of Indigenous Canadian children were really badly treated and some were said to have died. But the policy of the Canadian government is said to have little to do with the British royal family, who they believe are just ceremonial heads of state. I don't even believe that they're that any longer. But again, you have to do your own research. So Harry says, ladies and gentlemen, Invictus is heading back to North America, and this is a very, very good thing. And don't forget, Harry and his wife are very good friends with Justin Trudeau and his wife. And as I said before, they both have problems with Justin Trudeau, with his eyebrows slipping, and Meghan with all her wardrobe disasters. An article recently said that Harry had a messiah complex, believing that he was the one to rush in and save his grandmother, a bit like Superman. You can sort of see it in this comment that he gives where he says, for me at the moment, I'm here focused on these guys and giving everything I can, 120% to them to make sure they have the experience of a lifetime. Again, he's acting as if he's the answer to everything, to everybody's problems. He's the one to save the day. So if he cares so much about the Invictus Games, why does he let the headlines be all about him and his wife? And hardly anything at all about the actual people involved in the games, the people that matter, the ones that it's all for. Tina Brown's book, The Palace Papers, exposes the turmoil of the royal family, and she talks about Harry and Meghan's mutual addiction to drama. She talks about the wedding being the stuff of fairy tales on the surface, that behind the scenes it was reportedly a tsunami of temper tantrums, shouting matches, and even a tiff over a tiara. So most of this is old stuff that we've already heard about. It talks about Harry regularly getting into fights as a teenager. At one point, he even ended up on crutches after kicking in a window. Perhaps that's why they need so many rooms in their mansion, if they're both like that. My gosh. This author says that everyone around the prince agrees that the army saved Harry from going off the rails. And Cressida Bonus was the first one of his girlfriends to encourage him to seek help for his mental health. So apparently it was one New Year's Day when Harry and Cressida went to a local pub for a meal with family. I assume that means her family. And an elderly man approached them and asked to take a photo for his ailing wife. And Cressida was about to say yes, and Harry went red and shouted, "Get out of my way." Says a lot, doesn't it? This author says that without his army mates to cut him down to size, his sense of entitlement was out of control. His outbursts were ever more frequent and childlike. And Harry apparently took up boxing during that time because he was always on the verge of punching someone. Wow. I'm wondering why all this stuff is coming out now. Is it going to help in their divorce? More and more about Harry's mental health is coming out into the news. It looks very much as if he could be being set up. And let's think about this because, look at what's happening now. Meghan was in the headlines for her behaviour all the time, and Harry was looking subdued and depressed. Now it's Harry that seems to be in the headlines for his behaviour, much less of Meghan. And we know who puts these things into the news. We know who's manipulating this, don't we? And another thing here that I'm reading, which makes me smile, is Prince William's wariness soon spread throughout the palace as Markle's promise to hit the ground running filled the institution with dread. And it was Harry at the very start who had to tell her to slow down. But they were both drunk on a shared fantasy of being the instruments of global transformation, who, once married, would operate in the celebrity stratosphere once inhabited by Princess Diana. And Meghan just couldn't wait to get there. And we've seen videos of her literally elbowing people out of the way. And then we have the way that Prince William and Catherine were shocked by the way that Meghan treated their shared employees. And it wasn't a culture thing. Some of them were trying to make it out to be a culture thing. It's nothing to do with that. It was to do with her personality. Cannot be blamed on anything else except her. She and Harry are both responsible for their own behaviour. And it does say that when they announced they were leaving, they had a big shock. They didn't get the response they wanted. They thought they were going to have the royal family say, "Okay, what do you want? We'll give it to you." But they didn't. They just closed the door. And it's said that Harry and Meghan were really stunned. Harry and Meghan's neighbours are saying that they're not part of the community. I've said this all along. They're saying that they've been welcomed with open arms in Montecito, but they've been a no-show ever since moving in. So they're in what is known as the Cotswolds of California, and they've not been seen very much at all. Harry was seen out on his bike, and Meghan was supposed to be taking Archie to some sort of nursery or playgroup originally, and they've not been seen. So back to the subject of the Jubilee. Even though Harry has said publicly that he's not decided whether to attend, his closest advisors apparently believe he will want to go to fulfill his grandmother's wish for him to join his family this summer. I don't believe this will happen at all. They're saying that if Harry and Meghan attend, it would cause a massive headache for Buckingham Palace staff. So Harry is talking as if he's not sure what's going to happen yet, acting as if he wants to go for the sake of his grandmother, because let's face it, he's the only one who can save her and keep her safe, and he wants to make it possible that his children can meet her, because after all, he did promise her, didn't he, that she will hug her grandchildren soon. Why the big deal? It does make you wonder whether what Samantha says is true, Maybe he's got to come up with some children for her to hug. I don't know how many of you are following the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, but some of it is quite reminiscent of Meghan's attitude. And I wonder if Harry's following this, maybe getting a realisation of what might really be going on in his relationship. As I said, Samantha, Meghan's sister, is in the headlines again for questioning if Archie and Lilibet even exist. And I've done a video on her previous interview where she mentions this, which I will put a link at the end of this video. And she's being encouraged by the public to question this and bring this up. And she's not the only one questioning. There are many that are. The fact that they refer to what Samantha is saying as a conspiracy theory isn't helpful, because it's such an easy term to use and throw at anything where somebody questions something, and she is just questioning it. And the interviewer did overact his facial expression of being shocked. So I'm looking at the photos of Prince Harry shaking hands with the Dutch king, King Willem Alexander. This was on the final day of the Invictus Games. And he does shake his hand, holds it for a second or two, waves at the crowd. This is King Willem. And they walk off. So it was all smiles for the media. And I suppose he had to do that. He had to appear to do that after not allowing Harry and Meghan in their palace. So people are saying, is this what snubbing looks like? Saying that he wasn't snubbed by him. I think maybe King Willem was relieved that Harry was going, and this was just the final day where he could relax. So they were pictured laughing, and apparently Harry really made King Willem laugh. So he doesn't just help his grandmother laugh, he helps King Willem laugh too. So it's all for show. They were not happy at the start. They did not want Harry and Meghan in their palace. So we can only guess as to why. And maybe now that Meghan went back home, he felt he could relax more. So let me have your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye. Please subscribe. Ding my bell for more alerts for more videos. Like if you liked it, and share. Bye.